Chapter 4. Lesson 1. The Spanish Colonies. What to know? Why did Spain set up colonies in North America? So keep that in mind as you take your notes. Locate the lands in North America claimed by Spain. Describe relations between Spanish settlers and American Indians. Look through your Quizlet list and preview these key words you need to know: colony, plantation, slavery, borderlands, presidio, mission, hacienda. Some key people that we're going to read about: King Philip II, Bartolomé de las Casas, Pedro Menéndez de Aviles, and places: New Spain, Mexico City, St. Augustine, Santa Fe. The Spanish colonies. You are there. When the king is angry, the whole palace shakes, your sister whispers. When the king is angry, the whole palace shakes, your sister whispers. Shh, we're supposed to be working in the kitchen, you answer quietly. The two of you hide in a hallway and listen. Those who ignore my claims will be sorry, King Philip II thunders. I need sailors and settlers. We will make North America ours once and for all. Send for one of my captains. You're sure that the king will deal with those who dare to trespass on Spanish land. Dun, dun, dun. And this brings us to the idea that there were battles over claims. By the 1500s, several European nations, including Spain, had sent explorers to claim land in the Americas. Often, an explorer would put up a cross at the place where he had come ashore. The cross was a sign that the land had been claimed. However, after claiming the land, the expedition moved on, leaving no one to protect the claim. Most explorers would just step onto a beach and claim all the land for hundreds of miles around. They often claimed land they knew nothing about. Because European countries were competing with each other to win control of as much of the Americas as possible, more than one country often claimed the same land. American Indians also lived in most places the explorers claimed. Usually, no one paid attention to anyone else's rights or claims. Spain had already claimed large parts of both North America and South America, but the Spanish learned that claiming land was not the same as controlling it. You could say the land was yours, but it didn't mean you have any power there. Okay. Over time, Spain realized that it needed to protect its claims in the Americas. After establishing New Spain in 1535, Spain formed colonies to protect its lands and govern the people there. A colony is a land ruled by another country. Spain set up colonies in North America and Central America, and on many islands in the Caribbean Sea. Most of New Spain's colonies were governed by Spanish leaders in Mexico City, the capital of New Spain. So as we add to our notes, how did Spain compete for control of land in the Americas? And then we have some pictorial information here. Spain protected its claims to land in North America by building forts. And you can see these can be defended. And look at the wall around it. New Spain. So set up another section of your notes and title it New Spain. You can just draw a line. At first, very few Spanish people settled in New Spain. After the discovery of gold and silver, though, many colonists came, hoping to get rich. Others came to start large farms called plantations. By 1550, there were about 100,000 Spanish colonists spread across the Americas. The Spanish needed many workers to grow crops and mine gold and silver, so they forced the American Indians they had conquered into slavery. Slavery is the practice of holding people against their will and making them carry out orders. Many thousands of Indians died from hunger and overwork as slaves. Thousands more died from diseases that settlers unknowingly brought from Europe, such as measles, influenza, and smallpox. These diseases sometimes killed whole tribes because they didn't have exposure before. They had no immunity built up in their systems. Some colonists became concerned with how the Indians were being treated. One such colonist was Bartolomé de las Casas. The Casas was a landowner who freed his slaves and later became a priest. He spoke out in favor of better treatment of the Indians because he saw the Indians had a complex civilization and the Indians had souls like other humans. As more Indians died, the colonists looked for other workers. They began to bring Africans to work as slaves in many areas of New Spain. Soon enslaved Africans were working under the same terrible conditions under which the Indians had worked. So how did Spanish settlements affect the lives of American Indians? And what can you add to your notes here? Missions, such as this one, were built in New Spain to spread the Catholic faith. And in 4th grade, most of you learned about the mission system in California. And hopefully you got to visit at least one mission nearby. The major missions of New Spain. So here we are, and here's the Camino Real and the different missions that developed along that. And all of this green here is New Spain. Each one of these is a mission. Over time, New Spain's missions and borders spread northward. El Camino Real, or the Royal Road, connected many settlements to Mexico City. Which mission site was farthest north? Okay, settling the borderlands. Spain also, and by the way, set up your notes with this heading, settling the borderlands. You can just draw a line. Let's keep going. Spain also wanted to protect its lands north of Mexico City. These lands on the edge of Spain's claims were called borderlands. The borderlands stretched across what are today northern Mexico and the southern United States from Florida to California. Spanish soldiers led the way, building presidios, or forts, in the borderlands. In 1565, Pedro Menendez de Aviles and 1,500 soldiers, sailors, and settlers sailed from Spain. They reached the area that is now St. Augustine, Florida. There they built the first permanent or long-lasting European settlement in what is now the United States. Let's find that right here, St. Augustine, Florida. Spain's main aim in settling the borderlands was to protect its empire. However, the Spanish king also sent missionaries to convert the American Indians to Christianity. The missionaries built religious settlements called missions in much of the southern half of North America. Spanish missionaries also helped settle Santa Fe, the capital of the New Mexico colony. In such places, missionaries and Indians lived side by side. And here's an infographic about population in the Western Hemisphere, talking about the Americas. And this is in one stick figure here equals 500,000 people. So half a stick figure is 250,000 people. So in your notes, how many people were here in 1550? How many were here in 1650? And how many were here in 1750? And you can count this way. 500,000, a million, 250,000. So go ahead and count those up and put that in your notes. At first, some American Indians chose to stay at the missions, where they learned new ways of living and working. However, many Indians were forced to work on mission farms and ranches. Some fought back, destroying churches and mission buildings. Some settlers in the borderlands of northern Mexico built large estates called haciendas, where they raised cattle and sheep. The Spanish and the animals they brought with them changed life for many Indian groups. Horses, long extinct in the Americas, once again roamed the land. The Plains Indians learned to tame horses for use in hunting and in war. The Navajo learned to raise sheep and to use their wool to make clothing and blankets. So how did new animals change Indian life? What can you add to your notes about that? Summary. In the 1500s, explorers often ignored one another's claims to lands, or it just wasn't clear. The Spanish acted to protect their claims by setting up settlements. Spain needed workers, so they made slaves of American Indians, and when they died, they imported slaves from Africa. And in review, these are the questions you're going to need some answers for group work. Why did Spain set up colonies in North America? Write a sentence using the terms hacienda and presidio to describe life on the borderlands. What role did religion play in Spanish settlements? What were some of the costs and benefits of building colonies? So, what did it cost them? What were the negatives? And what were some of the benefits, the beneficial things? So you could say, what were the cons and the pros? And what were some of the effects of building missions? Because of missions, this happened. All right, and if you want to have a fun challenge, you can try to make a Spanish presidio with Legos or clay or draw it out. And that ends lesson 1.